Imagine this. It's 2 a.m. You're sleeping. Your family's all in bed. Then you hear a crash downstairs. Somebody's breaking into your house. And I hope you have the luxury of imagining that, because for far too many Canadians, that's a reality. If you're in the US, chances are you'll be reaching for a firearm. But in Canada, you're probably wondering if you're allowed to do anything at all without getting charged for protecting yourself. That's the difference. And that's why so many Canadians are fed up. I've made numerous videos about home protection, self-defense, your rights to protect your family, your home. And the comment section, it never disappoints. It blows up. So today I'm going to dive even deeper. We're going to talk about what you can legally do in Canada to defend yourself and what happens to you if you go too far. Now, I hate to do this, but I have to refer to a video that I made recently, which I'll be linking at the end. It's been watched by police officers, criminal defense lawyers. It's very fair and balanced. But let's get straight to the real talk. In the US, burglars have to think twice before kicking in a door. They don't know what's on the other side waiting for them. It could be a homeowner with a firearm. That risk, that's a deterrent. And it's not a partisan issue. Liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, people right across the board have shared their feelings in terms of protecting their home and keeping their family safe. And that's good. It shouldn't be a partisan issue. Now, here in Canada, that fear with the criminals, that just doesn't exist. They break in with confidence, knowing full well that the law's on their side if anything escalates. As one reader said, your door should be the last one thieves ever see. And another one said, if somebody breaks into my house, I'll become an American real fast. I mean, that pretty much sums up the frustration. Now let's break down the law. Section 34 of the Canadian Criminal Code, this is where you got to be careful. People get themselves into trouble. Interpretation. Laws that deal with the safety of you or your family, they need to be clear, crystal. Because in Canada, defending your own life could bankrupt you, even if you win. Section 34 of the Criminal Code. It basically says that you can defend yourself, but only if your response is reasonable and proportionate. So if somebody punches you, you can't hit them with a shovel. If they break in unarmed and you finish them off with the firearm, you're the one who's going to be investigated. Most people out there, they probably haven't been in enough situations, life or perceived death situations, where they even know how they're going to react to certain situations. If you train for these scenarios, that's one thing, but most people don't. And I don't think people can remain calm, cool, and collective when somebody's breaking into their home. I don't think you can expect them to remain calm and cool and collective. One of the stories that stuck with me was a case in Toronto. 3 guys broke into a man's home. At least one of them was armed. The homeowner, who also has a registered firearm, used it, and one of the suspects lost their life. The others took off. Now, you think that would be the end of it, right? No. That guy had to spend close to $200,000 in legal fees just to stay out of jail for protecting himself, for protecting his home. The U.S. has Castle Doctrine, which explicitly states a use of force option. Castle Doctrine, from what I understand, it refers to your home, but also your vehicle and your workplace. And there's stand your ground laws, which they're much more clear in the US than they are in Canada. Another popular comment, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Someone from Eastern BC, they were attacked during a home invasion. It was brutal. They were badly injured, but he survived. And his only line of defense was a baseball bat that his neighbor gave him. And in his own words, his comment, nothing like bringing a bat to a gunfight. And with the way that some of these new bills are going, he's not wrong. Some people are joking around. Soon we won't even be allowed to own steak knives, just butter knives. And good luck. Another comment that hit hard was, you don't know why somebody's breaking into your house. Gang members, drugged out, looking to hurt somebody. But here's the thing, they shouldn't be there. And if they take that risk, they should face the consequences. And how are you even supposed to know what their intentions are as a homeowner? Are you supposed to sit there and wait, guess? But that's the whole point. These criminals, they made a choice to enter your space, and yet you have to be the one to remain calm, rational, in the heat of the moment, which is tough to do. One of my favorite movies, Unbreakable with Bruce Willis. There's one scene in that movie that I found it disturbing. And I actually think about it often. I thought about it often as a police officer. It's one of those scenes where you wonder what you would do if you were in that same situation. And maybe the reason why it's so disturbing is because it actually happens. And maybe you know the clip I'm referring to.
No, you can't come in.
Are you sure?
What do you...
I don't want to just rant here. I bring up topics that I think are important to Canadians everywhere, but I don't want to just state a problem without offering some type of solution. I want to give you some real ideas, real strategies to deal with this, because the sad truth is, if you're in Canada, you need to be smart, not just tough. So what can you actually do to protect yourself legally. First, fortify your entry points. Good doors, deadbolts, reinforced strike plates. Don't make it easy for them. Search CPTED in your browser. It stands for Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. There's all kinds of little things you can do to help prevent yourself or your home from becoming a target. Simple tricks like trimming bushes in the front, keeping things away from windows which could be used to smash through. I also want to mention that, again, having attended hundreds of break-and-enters, a lot of them happen so fast. Within minutes, somebody will enter your house, they kick in the front door, they run right upstairs, because what's upstairs? The master bedroom. Usually all the valuables, jewelry, everything else is kept in the master bedroom. They empty things out fast, they look for something. They could be out the door before the alarm even goes off. That's how fast these things can happen. What else? Cameras and alarm systems. Again, I'm sorry, but we know that camera systems can provide a false sense of security. I've made videos about that in the past. The suspects, they'll look right into the camera and wave, but they can still help put things together. It's one piece of the puzzle. Even a loud siren, it can make them run off. And yes, dogs. Out of the hundreds of break-and-enters I've attended as a police officer, only one of them occurred where there was a big dog at home, and it was the sweetest ever golden retriever. One person commented about their Staffy, which is a type of dog, I assume, and it read, Staffy was a 55-pound fur-covered wood chipper. Also, use technology to your advantage. There's thousands of Facebook groups right across the country which are created specifically to connect people and protect communities. It's a modern-day neighborhood watch or block parent program, if you remember what that is. I belong to them as well. They would add me. I would put out all kinds of safety messages as a police officer, and they would be shared on Facebook groups. I belong to one in the East Coast. I got a place in the East Coast. And if somebody's going door to door, they're trying to sell something, or if there's a suspicious vehicle around, people post it on these groups. It's a great way to stay in touch. Unfortunately, that's the tightrope that Canadians have to walk. But let's face it, even if you were somewhere where the laws around self-defense and protection, they were less stringent, there's still good practices to follow. It's ultimately about crime prevention, preventing a crime from happening to begin with, instead of just catching them after the fact. And don't forget this part, police response time. If you're in a city, you might get officers there fairly quickly. But if you're in a country, it could take 30, 40 minutes, hours. That delay, it could factor into how your actions are judged. I mentioned earlier how fast some of these entries can be. They're in and out. You probably wouldn't have time to go to the firearm safe, unlock it, load up in a dynamic situation. You're going to be running to your family, protecting your kids. I have family who own a place in Florida, and let me tell you, the community where they are, everybody has firearms or they carry firearms. And I swear, it's the safest community you would ever visit. They look after one another. There's similar groups to what I mentioned about Facebook, those Facebook groups that are created to protect one another and form. It's very, very different. But in Canada, it's a gamble, and that's just not sitting right with people. So what needs to change anyways? Well, some say Canada needs its own version of the castle doctrine. Laws that clearly state that your home is your castle, and if somebody forces their way in, you have the right to stop them at all costs. Others warn that making the laws a little bit looser, it would encourage vigilante justice. There's full-out debates about this in the comments section. I just think people deserve clarity. The law is so murky, even people with the best of intentions can find themselves in the court or jail just for trying to survive or protect their loved ones. And at the end of the day, I don't think Canadians are asking to be cowboys. We're asking to be allowed to feel safe in our homes. We're asking for a system that protects victims, not just the offenders. So let me ask you this, and be completely honest. Do you think laws need to change, or is it working exactly how it should? Drop a comment. Please share your stories. Please share your thoughts. I read every single one of them, and I respond when it's appropriate to do so. We're also in the middle of an election right now, federally. Ask your candidate exactly where they stand on this issue and challenge them on the answers that they give. And if you find the information in this video helpful or eye-opening, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It lets me know that at least I'm on the right track. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you taking the time. And until the next video, stay sharp, stay safe, stay Canadian.